Hello, my name is the Reverend Serena Tadgemer, and I'm Vicar of St Mary's Church in Banbury in Oxfordshire. Thank you for taking the time to watch this Christmas Eve address, which is based on the readings we would have used for Midnight Mass. I hope it goes in some way to replace our Midnight Mass service, and I'm really sorry if you booked to come to our service this evening, but I hope you understand why we had to make the decision to close St Mary's Church at this time. It's been a difficult few days for everyone across the country as people have had to make the decision about what they're going to do for Christmas. Should I go and be with my family for Christmas or should I not? Should I keep church open or should I not? Reflecting on the answers to these questions, I've come to the conclusion that the decisions we make on these issues are based on love. We love our families, which is why we want to be with them at Christmas and don't want to see any of them on their own. However, because we love our families, we also don't want to see those members who are vulnerable for fear that our meeting could make them ill. Love, I believe, is not always an easy concept to understand. It's not straightforward or simple. It's messy and clumsy and changes and adapts to its surroundings. I don't believe there is a perfect way to love. It just happens. And you work with those feelings as best you can. Whether that's dealing with family members or your partner or even colleagues and friends, we try our best to show love. But sometimes we won't get it right. On first glance, our gospel reading from Luke feels a bit lacking of love. It is quite factual, stating the facts how they happened the night Jesus was born. There's also been a bit of misunderstanding around the idea of there being no room in the inn. The term used in the passage translates from the Greek kataluma, which means guest room. Rather than referring to an inn or hostel, which you would have had to pay for, it is more likely that there wasn't a guest room available within a house, which would have been full of friends and relatives of Joseph. The stable would have probably been part of the house complex, as animals were a valuable commodity, so you would want to keep them close by where you could keep an eye on them and make sure they were safe from harm and thieves. The stable would have offered Joseph and Mary some privacy for the birth of Jesus to take place, and the manger a way of keeping Jesus off the floor. This simplicity of the place where Jesus is born maybe says more about love than we think. God is bringing about a change in the world through the birth of his only Son, a change that has come about because of God's great love for us. God could have picked a rich and powerful Jewish family to nurture his only son, but he didn't. He picked a simple Jewish family who were descendants of King David. Jesus was also fully human, and so would have been born like all of us, from the body of a woman. Like all babies, he was vulnerable and would have cried when he was hungry and cold. He didn't have any superpowers that would have kept him safe. Being born in this profoundly ordinary way, God is making it clear that he wants to be among us, not perched on a pedestal or brought up to think wealth and grandeur is all that is important. God wanted his son to be born within a family who were like everyone else and could relate to everyone else. I believe God wanted Jesus to be born among a family who would help him understand the importance of love. A love which through the cross and resurrection would mean freedom from sin for all the world. In contrast to this ordinary birth, Luke continues this story by telling us about the host of angels who visit the shepherds, proclaiming the birth of the Messiah. This helps us to understand that although Jesus was fully human, he was also fully divine, with his birth being proclaimed by a multitude of angels in heaven. The shepherds are so overwhelmed by this event that they feel compelled to seek out this child that they have been told about. As we know, Mary and Joseph had both been visited by an angel to help them understand who Jesus was. And so this third visitation by the angels would have just confirmed this to Jesus' parents. This would be the last recorded time that the angels would be part of Jesus' narrative until the day of his resurrection, when Mary Magdalene would meet the angels at the tomb, confirming that Jesus was no longer there. Although Jesus goes on to live an ordinary life, these moments remind us of the significance of God coming to earth in the form of an ordinary baby. A baby that was nurtured and cared for by ordinary parents, but who were able to teach Jesus about love. A love that meant he could look into the eyes of those who were despised and rejected and show love and compassion and help us understand that we are worthy of love. This Christmas, let us all try and share love with each other the best way that we can. Let us not hold on to mistakes that are made or hurt that is felt. Let us be open to learning from each other what love is, as Jesus learnt it from Mary and Joseph throughout his ordinary life on earth. Amen. I hope you all have a very safe and blessed Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you all in the new year.